Montgomery County has lost a lot of high-paying jobs since the last economic crisis that we had at the end of the previous decade.
Yeah.
And lots of those jobs have not been recovered. And it's creating a problem in Montgomery County for both tax collection on individuals and tax collection on businesses. So how can we attract those big fish companies, those big companies? And do you see big companies establishing themselves in Wheaton?
In Wheaton, it's a little difficult because of the same challenges we have. And it goes back to, you have to make the area that you're in attractive. And I think that's the challenge we have. Like, we're not walkable. Wheaton is not a walkable area right now. So somebody that comes here, is, as soon as you try to cross the street here, you're like, I don't want to be here. And so that's something that we have to definitely work on. Another thing that I definitely, believe is that we have issues as well. And this is not just Wheaton. I think this is probably nationwide and definitely countywide. We have a lot of vacant storefronts. We have a lot of vacant commercial properties, and I think one of the challenges is that if you do go to these areas that are bustling, with economic development, with big companies, it's usually the amenities, it's usually what's around, it's usually, the added value for that employee. And I think we have to do something to make sure that we beautify, our area. Wheaton is very challenged, and trust me, I've been working for years, on different committees, and trust me, we've had, like, one example I'll give you is we had a pedestrian barrier that was put up on Reedy Drive and Georgia Avenue. With our group fought for almost 10 years to get a pedestrian barrier because we saw that that's where a lot of the deaths were happening. And that's SHA. So finally, after almost 8 years or more, they finally said, okay, you can put up the barrier. But then they said, well, you have to pay for it. So the county has to pay for it. And then they were trying to dictate to us what it would look like. Well, they said, well, it has to be black bars. And we were like, that's ugly. We want something that's going to be, more aesthetically pleasing, especially because we're an arts district. And eventually we got them to approve this aluminum barrier that you'll see now that says Wheaton on it. It's a little bit more artistic. But, that's just one example where, like, we have to make it attractive to these companies. There has to be all the amenities that they need. Wheaton has everything. You have jewelers, you have restaurants, you have the mall. We're so unique. I mean, we have a mall and we have the metro right here. There's not a lot of places that have that. So I think if we get our act together, we can definitely be a destination. But like I said, multicultural arts center, something where you're going to say, look, there's something for our employees to do. There has to be a nightlife. And that's one of the other challenges is a lot of people will go, to Bethesda. Honestly, Montgomery County is not, if you think about it, there's really no nightclubs or, not that I really go to nightclubs anymore, but we've made it difficult sometimes for businesses. I think we have policies that prevent people from trying to invest here. And we have to take a hard look at that and see, what it is, whether it's our liquor laws, whether it's, the issues that we have with leases, whether it's, the pedestrian safety aspect of it. There's so many things that it's not just one thing, but we have to make sure that this area is attractive for folks. So we just went through the whole thing with Amazon, and we really took a really hard look at ourselves. So to me, it was a positive in the end because we had to really take a hard look at ourselves and see what do we have to offer as a county. And honestly, obviously we didn't get that contract, but we know what these companies are looking for now. So we have a baseline. We can say, this is what we need to work on, and this is what we need to focus on to start attracting these folks.